Hey, David L. Hoyt here. I am one of the co-inventors of 828, and I'm going to try my best to teach you how to play. Okay, so first thing is that you might see two boxes here. This is the US version. This is the European version. Pretty much the same game. It's the same rules, except this one uses chips to build the pot, and this one uses crystals. They're both very cool. All right, so again, I am going to try my best to teach you how to play, but I don't know that I'm necessarily great at teaching you how to play in a video. So what we've done is we've included down farther on this page, you'll see some videos of a whole game, or one video, maybe more, I don't know, maybe we'll add some more over time. But it's going to be a video or more of a whole game being played out. So hopefully between what I show you here and then you watching a whole game being played out with a whole bunch of people, you'll get it. So here's the way it works. You're going to shuffle up these cards. And then, so for this, I'm going to demonstrate it with 3 players. We've played up to 9 players, but I'm going to show you with 3 players. So the way it works is you deal out one card. The first thing you do, face down. Actually, that's not true. The first thing you do is you start with 2 chips in the center. That's the beginning of the pot. And this is going to be the 828 pot. It's eventually going to get split into 2. It's going to be, it gets divided in half, and then the 28 pot, and then the 8 pot. All right, so I've dealt a face down card to everyone. Now, so actually, I'm player 3, player 1, player 2. So there we go. Player 1, player 2, player 3. So now I'm going to ask player 1 if they want a card. Well, I'm trying to teach you how to play, so we're going to cheat.
Hey, sorry to interrupt. 828 co-creator Colin Morgan here. I just needed to pop in for one quick clarification. David forgot to mention that at the start of every hand, each player looks at their own face down card. And they can look at it whenever they want to. So when David talks about cheating, he's referring to the fact that he's showing everybody what all the face down cards are. But every player looks at their own face down card at the start of the hand. That's it. Back to David.
So this player has a 6. Player 1 has a 6. Player 2 has a 9. And player me has a 1. Now, when everybody passes, the hand is over. So if I say, would you like a card? And player 1 says no. And if I say, player 2, would you like a card? And player 2 says no. And player me says no. Then it's over. Okay? But it's likely not going to be over that fast. So player 1 here has a 6. They're probably not going to take a card. The way this is going to work is you're trying to get the closest to 8 or 28 without going over, and it's a combination of your face down card and any face up cards. Now, player 1 has right now a pretty good chance of winning the 8 pot, but it would just be 1 chip, okay, which is very unlikely that's going to happen. So they're probably going to pass. Player 2, let's see what they have. They have a 9. Now, player 2 is they cannot win the 8 pot. They have to go for 28. They are over 8. The second that you're over 8, you have to go. So player 2 would likely take a card in this case, and they are dealt a 111. Now, I should have pointed this out earlier in the game. There are a lot of 1s in this deck, okay? Lots and lots. If you lay out this deck face up, you'll see that there are a lot of 1s and a lot of 111s. And there's a reason why. And you'll see the more you play why it's important that there's so many 1s. It allows you to take another card, take another card. So now that player 2 has taken a card, I actually don't have to take a card, because as long as one person does, it goes to the next player. So I'll show you what I have. I have a 1. I like to have 1s, okay? So here we go. Now, on to the next. So now player 1 is dealing, and another chip gets added to the pot. Every time it goes around and and the deal passes to the next player, another chip is added to the pot. So now player 1 asks player 2, would you like a card? So this person now has 10 or 20, depending on whether or not they use this as a 111, okay, or it's a 1 or an 11. So they might take another card. I'm not going to explain exactly why. You'll get a feel for it once you play it a few times. But let's just say that they take another card. Ooh, they have another 1. See, we don't know that he has a 9. We're thinking that player 2 is still going for 8. We don't know that player 2 is over 8. And again, I've got my 1, so I'm going to pass. I have this tendency to where if somebody takes a card, I usually pass. There's no reason for me to take a card right now. So now the deal goes over to player 2, boop, and another chip gets added to the pot. So now if the pot were to get split into 8 and 28, there'd be 2 chips in each. Okay, so now player 2, there's a slight advantage to being the dealer because you go last. So player 2, they know that they would win the 28. They are closest to 28 right now. They could count that as 21. So here we go. I have to decide, do I want a card? And I'm kind of afraid that it's going to stop. So I'm probably going to take a card, okay? So I take a card. Ooh. So now I have a total of 6. That's pretty good for potentially winning the 8 pot. But again, I don't know what that player has. And then this player says, I don't have to take a card. They're going to pass. And then player 2 here, I'm not sure what they would do. Let's see here. They would probably pass. If they're like me, they would pass because I've already taken a card. So now the deal comes back to me, and then boom, another chip gets put in. So now, player 1, would you like a card? They're sitting there with 6. They're probably assuming that I have 6, okay, because you always assume that this card is a 1 because there's so many 1s in the deck. They might take a card here. They really might take a card. But you know what? Let's assume that they do. I haven't stacked this deck, so I have no clue what's coming next. So let's assume that they do. Uh-oh. That was not the card they were looking for. They were hoping for a 1 or a 111. So now we know that they are over 8. So they have to go. Everyone knows that they have to go for the 28 pot. All right, so this player is probably like, nah, you know what? I don't need to take a card. I'm definitely not going to take a card because now I'm kind of in control of the 8. So now the deal moves over to player 1. Another chip gets added. And now player 2, they might be getting a little worried that they're trying to get to 28 is maybe in jeopardy if this person has a 111. I'm not sure, but let's assume that they take a card. All right, so now they are sitting here. Okay, they have 10 or 20 plus what they have in their hand. So they're definitely going to count that as a 10. Okay, so they're sitting there with 19. Okay, now I am not going to take a card because I feel like I'm going to win the 8 pot, which is true. I definitely am going to win this 8 pot. I do not need to win to take a card. I'm just hoping that it goes higher and higher. It goes around and around. All right, so now the deal moves over to this player. Another chip gets added, which is good for me because I wanted to get as big as possible. They're going to ask me if I want a card. There's no way I'm taking a card. I'm pretty confident. I'm 100% confident that I'm going to win the 8 pot. But see, they don't know that. They don't know that I have a 1. You know I have a 1. They don't know that I have a 1. So they might think that I'm going, in theory, no one might win the 8 pot. We all might be over 8. So now this player 2 asks, do you want a card? And I say, I do not want a card. No chance. I think that player 1 over here would probably want a card. Okay. And they're at 19. We don't know exactly what's going on here. I mean, we do because we've cheated, but in real life, these two would be battling it out for this 28 pot. So this person would probably say, he took a card. I don't need to take a card. Deal moves on to me. Another chip gets added, and the pot is getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So now this person really has to decide. They're sitting there with 19. They're sitting there with 25. So a pretty good chance that they're going to win the 28 pot. They are closest to it. So they are sitting here with 10 and 9. So they have 19. So they might pass. This person said, I'll take a card. Okay, so now they've got 25. I'm passing. Deal goes back over here. Another chip gets added. All right, so let's see what we've got here. So we've got 16 showing, plus this is 25. And over here we have 25. This is amazing. I did not set it up this way. All right, so now, of course, they don't know that they each have 25. So this person is thinking, oh, there's a lot of ones in the deck. What am I going to do? I think they're going to think, oh, the next card's going to be a 1. Ah, it's not, okay? Now, here's the thing. They've just busted. They are over 28, but they don't have to tell anybody that they're over. As long as these cards don't add up to 28, they can keep going to try to get this person to go over to go over 28. So this person is going to try to pretend to be, oh, this is exactly what I needed, but it really wasn't. I, of course, am going to pass because I'm hoping that, or I'm going to get that 28 pot. The deal goes over here. So now this hand is just about coming to an end. This person is thinking, that person here easily could be over 28 and be bluffing. So what? So I've already passed. I've told them I've passed. So is this person going to take a card? They're sitting with 25, and they're looking over here, and they're going 16. This person is sitting there with 23. I think that this person might not take a card, okay? That they're going to pass, that I've passed, they're going to pass, and that this person is going to pass, and it's going to end it, all right? So the hand is officially over, and then everyone flips over their card. I've got 6. This person has 25, and this person says, I'm over, okay? So this person is out. And now the way this works is the pot is split between 8 and 28. So everything goes like this. All right. So this person gets the 28 pot. I get the 8 pot. And there you go. But there are some things that could have happened here that would make this very, very interesting. For one thing, if this person had busted, had gone over 28, and they were both out, I would win the 8 pot and the 28 pot because 6 is closer to 8 and 28 without going over. Also, it's possible to get what's called a perfect hand. And a perfect hand are 2 111s, and anything that adds up to 6. As long as it adds up to 6, it doesn't matter how it is, okay? So here's the thing. Here we have, if we hold them up this way with the 11s up, you have 28. If you flip these over, you have 8. It's called a perfect hand, and it actually trumps everything. It beats everything. So you would actually win the 8 pot and the 28 pot. Even if someone had 8 or 28, this is the perfect hand. It wins them both, and it's fantastic. And try not to do what I do. Sometimes when I get the perfect hand and I know it, I like scream a little bit like, ah! So you don't want to do that. You don't want to let anyone know, because when you have the perfect hand, you want to get the pot bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So again, if this wasn't enough, if you study this a little bit, watch this, and then watch the whole game played out below, I'm hoping that it's enough to teach you how to play. And that's it. Thank you very much for buying 828. I hope you love it.